Morning students, I am Shumajit. Today I am here to deliver my lecture on topic monohybrid cross. So this is the second lecture from the topic or from the chapter Heredity and Evolution. Hear the entire lecture to clear the basics. Again I repeat, hear the entire lecture to clear up your basics. Today I'll discuss about the monohybrid cross and the 7 pair of contrasting character why Mendel choose the pea plant. Isn't it? There are many plants, but Mendel chose only pea plant. So without any delay, let's start with the lecture. So let's start. In topic monohybrid cross, you can see very nicely I have given the picture. See, so nice presentation I have given. Right hand side I have presented Mendel. I have kept the picture of Mendel. You can see the entire monohybrid cross, tall, short, all tall, 3:1. What are all these? I'll explain clear how tall, what is dwarf, what are the ratios of tall and dwarf, all I'll explain. So without any delay, let's start. Let's proceed with the next slide. See, first let me talk about Mendel, Georg Johann Mendel. From 1822 to 1844, his time period was from 1822 to 1844. He was an Australian monk. He experimented with pea plant. He thought that heritable factors, that is gene, retained their individuality generation after generation. Actually that time the word gene was not discovered, so Mendel considered that as trait or factors, because that time microscope was not invented and all, so he could not find out gene, but he have said that he have called it as factors or trait. Clear? So principles of genetics were developed in the mid 19th century. Experimented with pea plant by crossing various strains and observing the characteristics of their offspring. Then Mendel is the father of modern genetics. All right, so Mendel is considered as the father of modern genetics. So here are the 7 pairs of contrasting characters. So Mendel chose pea plant, isn't it? Because pea plant was cheap and all. I'll come to that afterwards. First, the 7 contrasting character that he found in a pea plant are: number 1 is seed shape. So in seed shape, he has found round and wrinkle. In seed color, he has found yellow and green. In flower color, he have found purple and white. In pot shape, he have found inflated and constricted. In pot color, he have found yellow and green. Then the position, in terms of position of flower, he have found axile and terminal. In terms of stem height, he have found tall and dwarf. So these are the 7 pairs of contrasting character. Now I'll tell which one is dominant and which one is recessive from the 7 pair of contrasting character. Now you can see which one is dominant and which one is recessive. That means from the chart you can see purple flower and white flower, isn't it? Purple is dominant and the recessive form is a white. So these all terms are known to you. Last lecture I have said what is dominant and what is recessive, isn't it? That's why first day I have taught with the terminologies so that you don't get confused. Dominant means those traits that will express, and recessive means those traits that will suppress itself. Clear? So for seeds, yellow seed is dominant and the green seeds are recessive. For shape, for the color of seed, yellow is dominant and green is recessive. For the shape of seed, round is dominant, wrinkle is recessive. For a pot, isn't it? Pot color, green is dominant and yellow is recessive. Next, in shape of pot, inflated is dominant and constricted and recessive. In terms of flower, arrangement of flower on a plant, axile position is dominant, terminal is recessive. Next, in terms of height of the plant, tall and dwarf. From here we'll see the monohybrid cross, isn't it? Tall means dominant and dwarf means recessive. So we'll take this cross in a monohybrid cross. Mono means one, so we have to take one character, that is height. So tall is a dominant and dwarf is a recessive. Clear? So why Mendel chose only pea plant? There were many plants, isn't it? Actually, Mendel was very lucky, isn't it? He has a pea plant. In his garden there was a pea plant, and he's successful. He has by chance took this plant, isn't it? And he was successful. But when Mendel was alive, no one accepted his research, isn't it? No one have accepted. But when Mendel died, after the rediscovery of Mendelism, all have accepted that Mendel was correct. So why Mendel chose pea plant? Like, first, the pea plant, the scientific name of pea plant is Pisum sativum, isn't it? Is an annual plant with short life cycle, because this pea plant have a short life cycle. The flowers are bisexual and naturally self-pollinating, because these plants are bisexual, isn't it? And bisexual means they have both male and female gamete. That means anther and gynoecium both are present. So entire androecium and gynoecium is present. You know the androecium, another name is stamen. So androecium consists of anther and filament, and gynoecium, another name is gynoecium or pistil, isn't it? It consists of stigma, style, ovary. As well as they can be artificially cross-pollinated, isn't it? They can be also artificially cross-pollinated, as well as the offsprings produced after cross-pollination are fertile, isn't it? Next is, pea plant have several pairs of contrasting characters. So you have seen 7 pairs of contrasting character that only pea plant have. So we can find a lot of diversity, isn't it? As well as the flowers of pea plant are large enough for easy emasculation. Emasculation is what? It's the process of removal of stamen, isn't it? Or removal of androecium. And next, it is a small herbaceous plant, so he could grow large number of plant, as well as it was cheap plant, isn't it? It was not so much expensive. So these are the reasons why Mendel chose pea plant. Next, this is a monohybrid cross. You can see mono means what? Mono means one, hybrid means mixing of the plant. Understood? So mono means one character they are mixing in 2 different plant, so there is a cross. So when a tall plant is crossed with a short plant, so again I repeat, when a tall plant is crossed with a short plant, all right? So when a tall plant is crossed with a short plant, always the next generation, that means the hybrid that is produced, the offspring that is produced, is always tall. I'll come to the first, let me show you the phenotypical character, then I'll come to the genotypical. Clear? Phenotype means what? Last class I've said phenotype is the external appearance of any character. So here tall is a phenotypic character, and short or dwarf is also a phenotypic character. Clear? Now genotype is what? Which gene or which alleles are responsible for this tallness and for short or dwarfness. Clear? First let me talk with the phenotype, that's the external character. So one is tall, another is dwarf. So as I have said, Mendel's have given 7 contrasting characters. Their tall was dominant and short or dwarf was recessive, isn't it? So always when tall and short were crossed, those are parents of them, one is male, one is female. The F1 hybrid, the offspring that is formed, is always tall, because I have said dominant and recessive, isn't it? When tall and dwarf both are there, it will become tall. And when these tall plant, the F1 hybrid tall plant, when they are selfed, that means when self-pollination have done, they have found that out of the 4 cases, isn't it, like the probability, 75% of probability, that means 3 are tall plant, and 25% probability 1 is a dwarf plant that is coming. That means whenever the F1, that means that if the tall plant are crossed from F1, that means one F1 tall plant and another F1 tall plant, when crossed, the probability is 75% tall plant, that is 3 and is to 1, 3 is to 1. So the monohybrid phenotypic ratio of F2 generation is 3:1. I'll show you how these have taken place, isn't it? 3:1, clear? So you can see the cross here, the genotypic crossing I'll show. See, tall plant, capital T crosses with dwarf plant, small t. So this capital T and small t are genotypic ratio, genotype, clear? So from the tall gametes, those were diploid, from their gametes will come. So from capital T, one capital T will come, and from small t, one small t will come, because from parents were diploid organism, isn't it? So gametes are always haploid to maintain the chromosome number. So now this, when one capital T and one small t crosses, means unites, isn't it? It form a capital T and small t. So this was the F1 tall plant, clear? So it has a small t, but the expression is tall, that's why we call it as F1 hybrid, clear? So one more terminology you have to know, homozygous and heterozygous, isn't it? So capital T and small t both are homozygous, isn't it? But the F1 hybrid that is produced, capital T and small t are heterozygous. So here dominant is capital T, that's why the F1 hybrid will be tall. Next, if I'll do that self pollination of that, isn't it? Selfing. So this F1 hybrid tall plant is selfed, isn't it? I have shown previous figure, it is selfed. So from capital T small t, the that is diploid, a gamete will come, one is capital T, another is small t. From next also one capital T, one small t. Now this is a checkerboard. I have last day I have given the Puneeth's checkerboard, isn't it? So this is a Puneeth's checkerboard, a scientist Puneeth gave, isn't it? So in Puneeth's checkerboard, what we do, one side we place the male gamete, another side we place the female gamete. So in the male gamete you see capital T one side and another is small t, and from female also one capital T, one small t. So now what happens? So all the gametes are placed, isn't it? Now we'll do a crossing, multiplication type. So capital T crosses with capital T, forms capital T. So from this crossing we can see that one capital T is produced, that is tall, isn't it? And two capital T small t is produced, that is also tall, but this is hybrid tall. And one small t is produced, this is dwarf, clear? So the phenotypic ratio is 3 tall, that means one capital T that is a tall, and one capital T and small t that is also tall. So 3 tall plant we are getting. So that's why the phenotypic ratio is 3:1. 3 is tall here and 1 is dwarf. But if I come to the genotypic character, the ratio will be different. That will be 1:2:1, because the 3 tall plant we have received, there are two different variation. One is capital T, that is purely homozygous. Another is two plant we have got heterozygous, that is capital T and small t. So that two will come in between, clear? So that's why you can see in genotypic ratio, you can see 1:2:1. That means 1 we have got capital T, 2 we have got capital T small t, and 1 we have got small t. So that's why those terminologies are very essential that I have explained in the last class. So this is a very good explanation of monohybrid cross. Hear the entire lecture to get benefited and to clear your basics, clear? So you can see what is the difference between monohybrid and dihybrid cross. See, mono means one, I have said, and di means true, isn't it? So in monohybrid cross, one character is considered and studied, whereas in dihybrid cross, two characters is considered and studied. In monohybrid cross, a single pair of gene is involved, whereas in dihybrid cross, two pairs of genes are involved. As well as the phenotypic ratio of monohybrid cross is 3:1, whereas the phenotypic ratio of dihybrid cross is 9:3:3:1, isn't it? So in monohybrid cross, it is important for determining the dominance relationship of the allele, whereas in dihybrid cross, it is important for assessing the independent assortment of allele, clear? As well as the monohybrid cross is a genetic cross between homozygous individuals with different allele for single gene locus of interest, whereas in dihybrid cross, it is a genetic cross between individuals with different alleles of two gene loci of interest. So this is an explanation of monohybrid crossing. Just now I have explained, copy it down, clear? Step by step it has been given, point 1, point 2, clear? This is the explanation. Just now I have explained about the crossing of monohybrid cross. So student, these are the homework question. First question is, show the crossing of Mendel's monohybrid cross till F2 phenotypic ratio. So you have to start that cross, clear, from parents till F2 genotypic ratio you have to show. F2 phenotypic ratio also you can give, and so you will find both phenotypic and genotypic, clear. And next question is, what are the 7 pairs of contrasting characters of Mendel considered by Mendel, given by Mendel, clear. So my dear student, this was all about today's lecture of monohybrid cross. The explanation of monohybrid cross has been given in detail, and the 7 pair of contrasting character has been explained. So here the entire lecture to get maximum benefit out of it, to clear your basics. So stay at home, stay safe. Again, we'll meet in the next class. Thank you, students.